Letting my half-siblings hear that I don't want them to come to my mom's house with me. My 16M parents are divorced. My dad cheated on my mom, which is the reason why. I was 7 at the time. My dad ended up staying with the woman he cheated with, and they had 3 kids together in the space of 3 years. Then their mom decided to peace out, and she left my dad with the 3 kids. She hasn't seen her kids or done anything for them since, but my dad does get child support for them, I think. Back when that all happened, my parents shared custody of me. I was at my dad's 1 week and my mom's the next. But when I was old enough in our state, 12 here, I went before a judge and asked if I could live with my mom primarily. The judge granted it but did order that I spend every other weekend with my dad, at least. After my dad's other woman left and was no longer a part of their kids' lives, Dad turned to Mom expecting her to step up and be part of their lives and to make sure I wasn't better off than them. But my mom never did. Sometimes I would hear Dad saying she should have my half-siblings over so they could see me more, or so I could bond better with them at her house, because he knew I didn't see them as just siblings and he knew I didn't exactly love them. It wasn't hard to figure out because I really didn't show any interest in them. My dad wanted to change that and he wanted Mom to be part of it. I think Mom must have accused him of wanting me as a willing babysitter because Dad was super offended on the phone with her once and he said babysitting was the least of his concerns. He wanted all 4 of his kids to be close. Once I was only staying at his house every other weekend, my dad really piled on pressure for Mom to invite my half-siblings over to her house. Mom would do her best to keep it from me, but almost every time I'm at Dad's house he will text or call her about it and I hear him mumble about it or I hear him on the phone with her. He says the sibling relationship will stay distant if I hardly ever spend time with them. This whole thing is something I never really pushed back on. Dad has been worse with Mom and with me lately, and I was with him over a week ago and we got into a fight over it. He was like, your mom should have them over for Halloween weekend because they'd love to see you and to dress up for you to see it, and then he was like, tell your mom you want to have them come over, and I said no. He pushed and my half-siblings were close enough to hear. That's when I said I don't want them to come over to Mom's. I never wanted them to come over. I told Dad I wouldn't care if I never saw them again. Dad yelled at me and then I yelled back. It was only after a few minutes we realized the kids heard because they had started to cry. Dad told me I should be ashamed for saying what I did where they could hear. He texted me all through last week about it as well and told me he was ashamed of my behavior. Comment 1. OP, I don't think he's trying to use you as a free babysitter. He's trying to use your mom. Gonna take a shot in the dark and assume that he's used to someone else handling the bulk of child care for him, and he hates having to do it himself. And, your mom did such a great job with you, and all women/moms love kids, so what's 3 more? This actually probably has little to do with you, outside of being a ready-made excuse to help him shirk responsibility here. The moment he manages to date another woman long enough to offload his kids on her, it'll probably stop, unless he wants alone time with the new woman or she refuses to take on his kids. Comment 2. NTA. The behavior that someone should be ashamed of is your dad's. He had an affair with a bad person, now he's having to accept the consequences of those actions, which is, he's a single parent of 3 additional kids. Your mother has no responsibility towards those kids, period. Your mother is right, he is wanting to use you for babysitting so he can get a break. Too bad. He can contact their mother or someone on their mother's side of the family to help. He is an extraordinary a-hole to expect the woman and child he abandoned for a trashy woman to step up and help parent his kids. Telling my niece she looked pretty? My 32F stepsister Kate, 34F, has always had a complex about physical appearance. It caused a lot of issues for her and all of us over the years and stopped her and I really having a relationship. She got therapy in her mid-20s and eventually got to the point of what she calls aesthetic neutrality, which means she never comments on anyone's appearance and we are asked not comment on hers, positively or negatively. Fair enough. She enforces this with her 7-year-old daughter Zara as well. She asked from the time Zara was born that we never make comments relating to Zara's appearance, even if it was nice things. Everyone in the family normally follows this. A few days ago, we were all visiting my parents' country house for the weekend, and Zara and my 5-year-old, Anya, were playing dress up. They came downstairs and my daughter ran over to me and my husband to show us the outfit, and we said she looked beautiful in her dress. My husband took Anya to get a snack and Zara came over to me looking pretty dejected and asked if she looked pretty as well. Maybe it was just me being too soft, but I couldn't look at her and not answer, given that she'd asked me directly, so I said yes. Her face lit up and she left the room to get a snack as well. Kate immediately rounded on me, telling me I was undermining her parenting and I know we're not supposed to make those kind of comments. She said disregarding her wishes as a mother was bad enough, but lying to Zara is even worse and is going to set her up for failure in the future if she measures everything by appearances when she isn't good looking. I understand where Kate is coming from, I really do, and I said as much, but I just didn't have strength to say anything else when Zara was standing right there. Kate is now mad at me and saying she isn't sure she wants me babysitting until I can respect her choices on how to raise her kid. My stepdad and mother are on my side, but my husband says I probably should have just redirected Zara to her mother given what Kate is like, and I probably did mess up a little bit. Was I that wrong? Again, I do understand where Kate is coming from, but in the moment I don't think I handled it that terribly. Comment 1. NTA, but she sure is. How does she think it feels for her little girl to hear everyone else is pretty? She needs to bend that policy when her kid is with other kids being complimented. And she needs more therapy before she fucks her kid up. I hope she sees this. Comment 2. NTA and it's extra F. She said that her own child isn't good looking. I understand aesthetic neutrality and do think it's valuable, but the moment she said she's not good looking is the point at which she totally lost me. She could have gently corrected your comment to something more neutral, like yes you look like a princess or your outfit is so cool, but instead she called an insecure kid ugly. Yeah, great parenting right there. Comment 3. Totally NTA. I can't imagine how hurtful it would have been if you did give Zara a positive response. I can't help but wonder if it will be harmful in the long run for Zara to never receive positive reinforcement regarding her appearance. Let's be honest, how we present ourselves in society matters. If Zara doesn't receive any feedback that is body positive, she may develop body image issues because her peers will receive this type of feedback, and Zara might question why she isn't worthy of being told she looks pretty/nice/good. This is exactly the thing Kate is trying to prevent, but she may inadvertently cause it by being so extreme in her demands to never comment on Zara's appearance. Just a thought. Embarrassing my wife by making her admit that she has a stepson. My 42M wife, 38F, Sasha and I have been married for a few months now. We have 4 children together, and 3 of them are my stepdaughters. They are Sarah, 16F, Emily, 14F, and Hannah, 15F. I have Aiden, 10M, through my previous marriage. Sasha has always been indifferent to him. I will make it clear that she does not hate him and does not make his life difficult in an overt way. She just pretends as if he is not a member of family. I have asked her to warm up to him, but she just shrugs it off. But as there hasn't really been a fight regarding the issue before, I did not want to start one and kept my quiet. She was invited, along with us, for her friend's wedding. We went there, and after the wedding she was talking to her friend. Her friend asked her whether they were her kids, by pointing to the 4 of them as they were standing some distance away. She said yeah, the girls are, and mentioned who was who. I was shocked that she had implied that Aiden was not her child, but she gave me a don't bring that up now look when I looked at her in disbelief. I told her friend she won't admit it, but the boy is her son too. Her stepson, and she doesn't like him. She was mortified as the others realized this, and attempted to laugh it off by saying that she had not noticed Aiden/thought it was another boy, etc. Later, though, she severely accused me of embarrassing her. She said that if she doesn't want to consider Aiden as a son, it's her choice. That resulted in a full-blown argument which makes me think that I might be the a-hole. Edit. Before we had the wedding, when she visited him she was rather warm towards him in the way a girlfriend is when meeting her boyfriend's son, which is why I agreed to the marriage/wedding. Afterwards, she said that now because it's official and he would be living with her all the time, she's finding it hard to adjust. Earlier she was very nice to him and treated him well whenever she saw him. Comment 1. YTA for marrying someone who doesn't like or treat your kid well. Your wife is TA for her immature and dismissive behavior of a child. Honestly, I think you're the bigger though. You knowingly married her when she mistreats your kid. Your first priority should be your child. He has very little control over his life. You are supposed to protect him from hurtful situations, not put him in them. Comment 2. Why on earth did you marry a woman who acts like the evil stepmother to your son? You knew this going into the marriage and still subjected your son to a lifetime of being the unwanted stepchild? When she said she doesn't view Aiden as a son, you stayed with her anyways. You chose this hag of a woman over your own child and YTA for that. You're NTA for calling out her horrific behavior though. She should be embarrassed. Changing my son's diaper on my lap at my Mills house? I'm an ambulatory wheelchair user and have a 5-year-old and 3-month-old. They're the light of my life. My mother-in-law invited us over for a barbecue yesterday, which we attended happily. She does not have a downstairs bathroom and it's hard for me to get upstairs, but I can manage although it causes me pain. When our baby's diaper needs changing, my husband usually does it. My husband and his dad had to run out to get more sausages and a couple minutes after my son pooped. He was crying and I couldn't get him upstairs to change. I could have put him in a sling, but it's a pain in the ass to get it on and then get upstairs. I wasn't going to make him wait 20 minutes for his dad, so I did what I usually do, I set him up on my lap and changed him. In public and such it's how I have to do it because nowhere has wheelchair accessible changing tables. I've never had an accident and it's all very well contained. I did this all with my first, so I'm pretty good at it lol. I changed him and tied the dirty diaper in a bag, hung it on my chair and waited for my husband to return. Well, my Mill walked in, saw the diaper sack and connected the dots. She told me it was vile to change a diaper in a shared space. I told her it was necessary because her house isn't accessible. She responded by saying I could have asked her to do it upstairs or waited. A dirty diaper has never killed anyone. I told her neither were options. We don't allow others to change diapers, which she knows, and I was not going to make him wait. She disposed of the diaper and when my husband came back called me a disgrace, asked him to teach me about hygiene. It was tense and I felt extremely uncomfortable. My husband is on my side, mostly, but did say it was a little gross and I could have at least tried to calm him down first and see if he'd be okay to wait. I disagree. I wouldn't enjoy sitting in a dirty diaper. I'm sure he doesn't either. It's all quite uncomfortable but hopefully will calm down soon. I'm just curious. Comment 1. ESH, each of you has kind of a ridiculous position here. She won't allow diaper changes in shared areas of her house and you won't allow anybody else, not even the grandma, to change your kids' diapers. Her house, her rules, against your kids, your rules. You both kinda suck. I'm on the fence about Dad, who's caught in between the two of you. Poor guy. Comment 2. I'm actually going to go with nah. You did what you had to for the good of your kid. Your Mills house is not accessible, and that sucks, but making a house accessible is not easy and not cheap. You did the best with a bad situation. However, you changed a diaper in a public space at a food function. I can see why she freaked out, and I think a lot of people would have done so, hopefully not externally, but probably at least internally. Comment 3. ESH for lack of flexibility. I'll start with OP. Always ask the host where they would like you to do diaper changes. A good host would then set up an accessible area for you to change diapers. Changing a poo diaper at a food function is not nice. Mill sucks for not offering you an accessible place to change diapers to begin with. If a person in a wheelchair comes to my place, I would ask them what accommodations I should make before they show up. Calling you a disgrace is awful, too.
Uninviting my niece and nephew to family dinners. Once a month we have my husband's family over for a family dinner. His family consists of a few brothers and sisters, his mom and dad, and his nieces and nephews. We also have a few children our own. When we have our dinners, almost everyone shows up, except for the parents of his nieces and nephews. They have, for every single one of the past dinners, been taking the opportunity to go and have date night, and been using me as their own personal babysitter without asking. The rest of his family neglects to watch the kids, so I'm stuck watching not only my own children, who are all below the age of 5, but also my husband's nieces and nephews, who are all also below the age of 5. Altogether there are 6 children below the age of 5 under my care alone, because absolutely no one else will take the time to watch them. This most recent dinner, all of the other kids were sick. We were given a heads up and my husband asked his sibling to not drop the kids off. Dinner starts and all of the sick kids walk in through the door with my husband's mom and dad. And, once again, the kids' parents decided to stay home and have date night. Now myself and our own kids are sick, and they missed out on Halloween due to their sickness. In a fit of fever-induced irritation, I sent his nieces and nephews' parents a text letting them know that they're not allowed to bring the kids over while they're sick, and that the kids aren't allowed to come over for the dinners unless the parents are also there with them to watch over their own kids. My exact text was, "Hey Bill and Sil, please don't drop off the kids at our house anymore unless you're planning on staying to supervise them. I have my own kids to watch and I'm not up for watching over yours, too. Also, do not bring your kids over if they're sick. Illnesses happen, but my kids missed out on Halloween because you brought them over when we asked you not to. I hope to see your family at the next dinner." Now all the adults in the situation are pissed. My husband's younger siblings agree that it's irritating to have so many kids and not enough supervisors too, so I feel like I'm in the right. It shouldn't be my responsibility to watch other people's kids. I'm offering my home and food during these dinners, but I am not offering free babysitting service. Comment 1. I am not offering free babysitting service. Exactly. Your Bill and Sil have been taking advantage of you. They can hire a babysitter. And don't get me started on the sick kids thing. I missed out on enjoying 10 days of Christmas vacation because my sister dropped her sick kid off with my mom when I was visiting and I got sick as a dog. NTA. Comment 2. NTA. Your request is more than reasonable and they are being huge as in how they've behaved thus far. But you should have a lesser gripe with your husband for enabling this, and for your Phil for bringing kids with them to your place without your permission. Many people are okay with taking you for granted here, and that's a big issue. I'm glad you've taken this first step to tell the parents.